Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the conversation series.
Because creators are businesses.
What we do is not simple.
Give, the fans everything that they deserve.
Being creative
is like doing a 5,000 piece puzzle.
is something that you can learn and do over and over again.
Always be as authentic as I can be.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the conversation series. I am thrilled today to have Miss Tina C. Hines here with me. She's a certified life coach. She's a women's empowerment specialist, and she has over 3 decades of corporate experience across pharmaceutical, philanthropic, and media industries. I'm so excited to have her here to dive into the business that she has created, tap into her entrepreneurial mind. Tina, thank you so much for joining me.
It is great to be here with you. So thank you so much for inviting me.
Yes, absolutely. I want to get into your background purely and just understand where the entrepreneurial spirit came into you and how you started down this path.
What's so interesting is whenever I tell this story, people say, how did you start becoming a life coach? I said, I was minding my business in corporate America. Because literally, I was minding my business. I had no aspirations of being a coach. But as I was going on this journey and inviting women to my home and always having different conversations, and then this journey of meditation and listening to Deepak Chopra, it sort of guided me into this space. And as I shared, I spent 30 years in corporate America as an executive assistant. And I like to always say that that time was preparing me or grooming me for this moment right here.
Yeah.
And so everything that I've learned throughout my career is being applied in my coaching and then some. So like I said, it wasn't planned. I was minding my business, but all of a sudden there was this wake up call of the need to serve, but serve more up close and personal versus the capacity that I was working in corporate America.
I love that. I love minding my own business in corporate America. I love that. And was there a kick in the butt moment of just starting this? And what was that moment for you?
There definitely was a kick in the butt. It wasn't a great kick in the butt, but we really all go through. Yeah, I like to say we go through these storms. Yeah. And my storm just happened to be clinical depression.
Okay.
And I had gone through the storm of trying to figure out what was going on and what the challenge was that triggered the depression, because it was the first time I had experienced it.
Got it.
And I was going to work, but I got to a point where I was no longer fulfilled. And I'm like, there's something going on here. And of course, when I'm healing from the depression, I'm going to therapy, but I'm also going through an awakening, a spiritual awakening at the exact same time. So I'm getting Reiki support as well. And then again, as I started doing meditation, I started journaling more intentional. Okay. And one of the questions during a Deepak Chopra meditation was, who am I? That was the infamous question. And as I sat down and started writing, who am I outside of being a mom and being a daughter and all of these other labels that we wear, I ended up writing a coach or speaker of some sort.
Okay.
And I used to have women always come to my home, and we used to have a quote unquote book club, but we never read the book. So I'm like, I don't think we really had a book club. But we never read the book because we were so focused on our life and the life challenges that we faced. And so one day when we're having this class, we're having the meeting at my home, I had a flip chart and everyone was like, oh shoot, Tina has a flip chart. What's going on here? And I go, I want us to explore who we are outside of being moms. Yeah. And, everybody started sharing a little bit more of who they were and what they did. And I asked the question, so what do you all see me as? And they said, you always give us constructive feedback and you give it without judgment.
Love that.
And I see you coaching people. I see you coaching women. And I sat with that for a while. I was still healing. And eventually I just decided I was going to get certified as a coach.
Love that.
and put forth the effort while I was still in my corporate job. So I was balancing the both of them.
And you aren't in corporate anymore, are you?
I
Fully
am
out
not
of
in
it.
corporate anymore.
Fully
I'm not
out
in
of it.
corporate anymore.
Love that. When you got fully out of corporate or doing your own thing, what are some of the biggest challenges or one really big challenge that you faced early on that was a wake up call of like, this is entrepreneurship. This is what it is to be an entrepreneur?
The biggest thing that hit me was in corporate, you have HR, you have accounting, you have sales and marketing. In your business, you have you.
Yes. Yes.
And that was the big wake up call of I'm not calling somebody to manage X, Y, and Z. That kind of stinks.
Yes.
And just realizing that you really had to become more knowledgeable. I had to become more knowledgeable in these areas. They're not my zone of genius.
Yeah.
However, to have a little bit of knowledge base about them was helpful to me. And realizing that also you don't have to do it alone.
Yeah.
Just because it says solopreneur, it doesn't mean you specifically have to be solo.
Yes.
You can still pull people in to support you. And literally, that's what as time progressed, I started doing that.
Okay. Even being a life coach through all of this, have you had any key mentors or people that have kind of you've looked up to and asked questions that have been entrepreneurs or solopreneurs throughout this journey for you?
Most definitely. So early on, I did join an organization called the Black Life Coaches.
Okay.
Because I knew that in the process of this, I still needed mentorship. Yes, I have this extensive career, but I built it over time and it came through training. So when I enter into the entrepreneur side of it, there were a lot of areas that I was unfamiliar with.
Okay.
And it was helpful to have the right people in my life to connect with them and bounce ideas and get their constructive feedback. Like early on, I'm a kind of person when I hire a coach, I sit on them for a while, meaning I watch them. I want to see how they're interacting with other people. I want to see the type of information that they're putting out.
Yeah.
And then finally, I'm like, okay, now I'm ready to hire you because I think we may be a good fit.
Yep.
And I did that early on when I started my coaching practice. I hired one person, and what was great was as I finished my time with her, she prepared me and actually directed me to another person that I could work with, another coach to work with.
I love that part of entrepreneurship. There's a chain effect of somebody knows somebody, and then that person knows somebody else, and that person, it's this beautiful chain that gets created as you work in entrepreneurship of just all these people that doors get open to that you would have had no idea or would have never heard of them to begin with.
Most definitely.
Is there a misconception around entrepreneur or being in entrepreneurship that you would love to bust, that some people come to you and are like, have this picture of it?
So I think a lot of times when we talk about entrepreneurship, we seem to think that we want to give ourselves freedom. We all say, I want to give myself the freedom and flexibility. And you get that wake up call real quick. Like when early on, when people would always say, I'm a part of Team No Sleep. I don't want to be part of Team No Sleep. I don't want to be up all hours of the day and night doing work. It gives me the flexibility of being able to do it from anywhere. However, it's not like I know a paycheck is coming in the 15th or the 30th of the month. The only way the paycheck is coming in is if I'm doing the work to generate the paycheck to come in. And I think that's another big wake up call is the freedom and flexibility that you think you're going to get. You have the flexibility, but I don't know if it's that much freedom because you are the end all be all in your business.
Now, I have seen, and you've been mentioned on Good Morning America. You've been featured on the Tamron Hall show. Is there a moment in all of this, in this role that you've taken on, that you said, okay, I've made it? Is there a certain amount of clients that you've got into or anything? Is there a moment for you?
I don't want to say necessarily that I've made it.
Yeah.
I could probably say more that, I did this
Okay.
and I can do this, because I'm always about authenticity.
Yeah.
There are ebbs and flows in this journey. It's not always, we're not always the high. And I'm a huge advocate for making sure people are aware of that, because many times people are like, oh, they see the glitz and the glamour, like they see me on my retreats and international retreats in Indonesia and Anguilla, and they're like, oh, you're doing the thing. And I'm like, no, I'm not. This take a lot of planning.
Yeah.
So I don't want to necessarily say I've made it, or I more so say I did it. And I've stayed strong and hold true to who I am as a coach and the work that I put out, and the amazing individuals that trust me as I am their guide to help them through their breakthrough.
I love that, because sometimes people say, yes, I made a certain amount of money and this is when I knew I made it. But I love that you've got that hustle mentality in you.
I don't know about hustle, but it's just that I create the things that I desire.
Yeah.
And the phenomenal women that have allowed me to serve them has been created for me. Like they find me from all different walks of life. And some of them, even when they find me, they're like, I don't even remember what it is that was the trigger. And then they start processing it, and they're like, excuse me, you know what it is? You operate from a place of compassion. Ooh. And we feel seen when you talk to us. Like we 100% feel like you're somebody who gets us and understands us. And you ask us thought-provoking questions that we may not have even thought about. Yeah. That's what I'm like, yeah. That's when I know what I'm doing, what I was called to do.
I've had the pleasure of talking with many life coaches. When you were in corporate and you were doing the training for it, what does the training look like to become one of these coaches?
So it's felt the same as going to get my degree, because you're going through all the different pieces of information of how you're interacting with somebody from the coaching perspective. And also got to always keep this in mind, that we are coaches, we're not therapists.
Okay.
And there's this fine line between coaching and therapy. And I always make sure that it's important that it's never crossed. And as I was going through my certification, because sometimes when we do the practicum of, practice clients, and I'm saying certain things, and my trainer would be like, well, Tina, you technically can't say that, or you technically shouldn't say that. Because then you're in a clinical side of things.
Yes.
And I never want people to feel like I am giving them the feedback from a clinical perspective, because it is not. We are certified as a coach. We are not certified as therapists.
Very interesting. That's a very fine line to walk.
It's challenging to walk it, because the two can sometimes mesh together.
Absolutely.
And when I am doing consultations with women and they start talking to me about certain challenges that they have experienced, like if you think about domestic abuse or sexual abuse or anything in that space, that is not my area of expertise.
Right.
If we want to talk about boundaries, self-love, self-care, yes, I can do that with you. Yeah. But anything on that other side, that is therapy, because they need to explore a little what's going on deeper within you and what may be triggering from you from a mental health perspective. That is not coaching.
Now, I don't want to say you've niched yourself down, but you focus on helping women. What was that decision for you when becoming into this role?
I would like to say that it goes back in my family history. Okay. When I think about my mother and my grandmothers, for those who don't know, I am a 5th generation intuitive, clairvoyant, medium, and healer. And my grandmothers always worked for women. My mother was a nurse. And whenever I would be in work, women would always come to me. It's somewhat of this connection of I get it. And every now and then I'll get a male sprinkled in there, but primarily it is women who find me from various places.
I love that. I think there's so much space there. And I think from my experience, women are more open to working with a coach. I'm not shutting down males, but I'm saying just from everything that I've read from people I've talked to, women have been more open to these experiences.
I think it goes hand in hand. I think that there's not enough space for men to experience it.
Yeah.
And that you struggle with, they may struggle, because I don't know them, they
Yep.
may struggle with that masculinity side of me expressing myself in a way that may not feel masculine enough. So in essence, for depending on a woman and what her situation is,
Yep.
it may be a little bit easier for them to have certain types of conversations with coaches or with therapists.
Absolutely. Now that you have been down this path, is there one piece of advice that you had wish you had gotten when you had started out as an entrepreneur?
Starting out as an entrepreneur, I wish I was given the advice to not leap without a safety net, because literally when I left corporate, I leaped without a safety net.
Okay.
And a lot of times when people, you are in a space where you're probably frustrated with your job. I wasn't frustrated with my job. I adored my boss. I enjoyed the organization, but my well-being was being compromised because it just wasn't fulfilling for me. But I would definitely say, if I heard someone say, allow your full time to pay for your business
Yes.
until you're ready to leave your business.
Yeah.
Okay. And I was just like, I need to leave. I'm ready to go. I'm out of here. And I just started planning for it. And I feel like I should have planned a little bit better.
Got it. Okay. Okay, that's great to know. I like that piece of advice. Is there anything coming up, Tina, with your business that you want to shout out? What's next? Anything that's exciting you right now?
So I'm doing two things. The first is I host international healing retreats for women. And this year we're going to Bali in June. And this will actually be my last retreat after 13 years. I'm going to put them on pause for a minute. And as I'm doing that, I am also pivoting into doing business coaching for new and aspiring coaches as well as solopreneurs. So I get to pour my energy from everything that I've acquired over the past 13 years into those who are up and coming, because I've seen that, we go in like follow the shiny ball, and we really don't know how to do a lot of things starting out. And we struggle in that space, and we think that we're supposed to just keep posting on social media without truly building relationships in order to grow your business. So I'm in the midst of a pivot actually right now.
I'm so excited to see how this goes for you. 13 years of retreats, that's incredible.
It's been an amazing journey. I started out doing them we went to Jamaica, Turks and Caicos, Anguilla, Bali, Morocco. And I started doing them because I escaped when I was going through my own healing. And sometimes the weight of being in the States is just heavy, and we can't hear ourselves think from all our responsibilities. So I invite women to step away from it all and just be there for themselves instead of being present for everybody else. So it's always an amazing experience.
I love that. And I cannot wait to keep up with this last one and then just see where you go with this business coaching. I'm so excited for this next phase of your journey.
Thank you. I'm excited too.
My last question for you, Tina, is just what continues to fuel your passion behind everything that you do?
When I see women living their lives unapologetically, on their own terms, and just in this growth, not change, but growth period. And I love that. I love when I'm working with my clients and they have their aha moments, and they often starting out, they think, because I have this innate gift that I'm supposed to give them the answers. And I'm like, no, This journey is your journey. And I want you to experience the aha moment versus me telling you what the aha moment is going to be. And I absolutely love that.
I love that, Tina. And I can't thank you enough for sitting down with me today and let me dip my toe into your world and everything that you're doing and let me spotlight you. I so appreciate all the work that you're doing.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I appreciate you.
Yes, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. You guys, I'm going to have all of Tina's information down below. You can go check her out, read more about what she does, stay up to date with everything. And as always, I will see you guys back here next time. Bye, y'all.